Hello and welcome to another lesson in JavaScript for beginners. Today we are going to learn data types in JavaScript. To get started, let me explain data types. I will actually try to do that by using something that we are already familiar with. That is, let's say, types of files. You know, the way we have PDF files, image file, that is .jpg, .png, .mp3 for audio files, .mp4 for video file, all those different types of files. Similar way, we have types of data we can work with in JavaScript. To start with, let me show you the easiest to understand. That is number, right? A number is a type of data in JavaScript. It can be any number. It can be 23, it can be 23.56, it can be just any number you can think of. So number is a type of data. When we talked about variable, we say we can create variable using the keyword let. We can say let age be 30. It means that this variable age holds a value of type number, right? So that is number literally. The next one is a string. A string is a data type used to represent text. For example, you can say I like to eat. This is a text, right? But in JavaScript, we put that text inside quotes. You can see this single quotes. Inside it, you put your string. If you do something like this, that is without the quote, that is an error. You have to put it inside single quotes like this, or inside double quotes. Both of them work. So this is a string, just used to represent text. It can contain both letters and numbers and special and some characters as well. So this is how we represent a string. So you can say I like to eat. I am number 3, whatever you put here. That is a string. We can assign it to a variable. It doesn't mean that a data type cannot exist without assigning it to a variable. So just something to have in mind. And so let bio be equal to this string. That is a string. The next data type is boolean. The boolean is a type of data that can hold true or false value. It can only have true or false. For example, let's say let smokes false. That means doesn't smoke, right? If the person smokes, we can say true. So a boolean can have either false or true. Those are the two possible values for a boolean, or something that results to true or false. So that is for boolean. It is so simple and straightforward. Then undefined. Undefined is the value that is automatically assigned to a variable that nothing has been assigned to. Let me show you with an example. If we say let secret, now this is a variable secret, but we have not assigned any value to it. If I go ahead to output whatever that is inside secret, if I do console.log secret, I save this and run, you can see that secret is undefined. So when the variable, nothing has been assigned to it, it automatically assumes or gets the data type undefined, right? But if I go ahead and say code addict. If I go ahead and assign something to it, clear this, save and run again, we can see that it is no more undefined. So that is for undefined. The next one is null. Null is like saying none, nothing. Let me actually show you with an example. You can say let crimes be null. So this is saying, okay, we have a variable crimes, but it is null. It's like let me give a scenario. Let's say someone is going through your records and comes to crimes and sees null. The person will be like, oh, there's no crime, this person has not committed any crime, right? This is different from undefined. Assuming we have crimes without assigning anything to it, this is undefined. So someone will be like, somebody is not telling us the whole story, or somebody is hiding something here. But if we say no, it means there's no crime. This is different from this. We are yet to define what this variable holds. That is for now. I hope that makes sense, by the way. The next is object. Object is different from the other types of data we have seen so far, because object is more like a data structure. It can hold other types of data. Let me give you an example. Let's say let person be equal to this. So the curly braces is how you create an object, right, in JavaScript. Inside this curly braces, you can start putting some other kind of data. You can say let the person's name be John Doe. So inside an object, we can have other types of data. Age to be 30. You do that using the key value pairs. The key is the property, the name you are giving to the property, and whatever that comes after this column is the value. So the property name is name, and the property name here is age. And what did we assign to name? John Doe. What did we assign to age? 30. If I save this, how then do we access what is inside the object? For the other ones, they are so straightforward. You can do console.log secret to output that, console.log bio. It will give you a like to it. I am number 3. But for object, we do it differently. So we can say let person name be equal to person. That is this object. You put a dot. When you put a dot, you now type the property you want to access. In this case, name, right? This is how we can access it using this dot notation. So if I go ahead and say console.log person name, come on, person name, let me comment out this and save, run, you can see that we get John Doe, which is the value here. The similar way, we can say let his age be equal to person.age. Oh, this should be let. So we can say his age. We save that, clear this console, and we get 30. This is how you can access the properties, whatever that is inside the object. Another way to access them is using square brackets. So we can say person age. So you put the square bracket, you put quote, you must put the quote, whether it is a single quote or double quote, and then the property key, in this case age. If I clear this, run, I will get both the name I'll get the age actually. That is the only thing we are outputting here. So this is another way you can access the properties of an object. An object can actually have other objects inside it apart from the other types of data. So here we can say more info. This is the key. As usual, we put the colon. Remember, we say object is defined using curly braces. That is what I just put there. And inside here, I can actually break this into lines. In JavaScript, empty lines doesn't matter, right? It is the same thing as having it like this versus having it like this. They're basically doing the same thing. But for readability, I can actually bring this down, this guy down here, this down, and this like this. So we can say continent Africa, and game to be soccer. What we have here is an object inside the parent object, the bigger object. How then do we access this continent, for example, or the game? Remember that they are not directly inside the parent. Instead, they are inside another object that is inside the parent. It is very simple, the same logic. We can say let his continent be using, let's use her, doesn't matter, continent to be, first we get to person. The next thing is more info, because that is the key that will give us access to that nested object. And then we can access the continent. We can come here and say our continent. It is that straightforward. In a similar way, we can use the square bracket. Let's say fav game to be favorite game, person dot more info dot, actually I wanted to use square brackets, game, save. You can also use the square brackets like this. It does not mean that if you start with square brackets you have to use it all through. You can use it like this as well, right? So if I go ahead and print both of them, I'll get fav game here, save, clear this console, run the code. You can see that we got Africa and soccer. So far we have seen how we can access something that is inside an object, that is the properties. We can also assign something to the object. Let me show you an example. We can say person dot what do I put here? Favorite color, fav color. We put equality sign, we say red. This is similar to having fav color somewhere inside, and like having it here. Come on, it is similar. So we can actually assign outside the object initial definition. So if I do console.log person with capital letter here, person dot fav color, we are going to get the result red, or we can use the square bracket as well. Likes food, actually I wanted to use square bracket without a dot. You can say true, that is boolean type. If I do console.log likes food, and then we get true. So you can see that I used square bracket to assign it, and I used dot notation to access it. It doesn't matter, you can use them as you see fit interchangeably. That is objects so far. Now let's talk about something else that is not data type per se. If you want to know the type of data that a variable holds, you can use the JavaScript keyword type of. Let's say, actually I will just go ahead and output the result. Type of, let's pick age. We want to know the type of variable, type of data that age holds. That is the use of the keyword type of. If I go ahead to run, you can see that it holds the type number. That is for age. In a similar way, we can check the type of data that bio holds. Type of bio. Save and run. We get a string. Of course, bio holds the type string. That is how you can easily tell the type of data that an object, a variable, holds. Now let's talk more about string. There are different things you can do with a string. For example, you can get the length, the number of characters in a string. Let's say me, I am me. What we are going to do is to try to determine how many characters are in the variable me. So we type the variable name, we put a dot, and we type length. Length is a keyword, is a JavaScript property that we can use to tell how many characters that are in a string. If I go ahead and run this, you can see that there are 7. This includes the spaces. If you count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 characters. That is for length. Another thing we can do is to combine strings. Let me show you with an example. Let first name be John. Let last name be Smith. If I want to output the full name, I can select full name be equal to, which we know that it is a combination of first name and last name. So to combine the two strings, you put the plus sign, right? This is not like addition in mathematics. This is just, it is joining the two strings. It is called concatenation. If I go ahead to output full name, of course I will get John Smith combined together. So we run this, you can see John Smith. Now the problem is that they are together. I want a space between John and Smith. I can say let space be empty space. Take note, empty space here. So what I can do here is to add space in the concatenation, so you can concatenate multiple strings. If I save and run one more time, I will get John space Smith. I can actually put the space directly inside here. I will save and run again. We get the same output without needing this space, like this. There is another way we can actually use variables inside a string. That is string interpolation. Let me use the first name and the last name once again. We can say let full, let full name be, this time we put back ticks. We put back ticks. We can put anything here. Actually, this is not just meant for outputting strings, outputting variables in a string. You can actually create a string using backticks the same way we did using single quotes and double quotes. So I can say let my bio to be, you put backticks, I am me, I like me, whatever string you want to put here. This works in a similar way to using double quotes and single quote, but we're going to see a little difference between them. If I run okay, my bio without the quotes, save, clear this, run, you can see I am me, I like me, which is what we have here. The difference is that we can actually output variables inside the backticks. My name is, to do that you put a $sign, you put curly braces, and then the variable name, right? For now, what we have inside there is the first name, I am me, I like me, my name is John. John is this variable here. We can also put more variables. Last name. In that case, if I save and run, I'll get my name is John Smith. So we can use backticks to output strings and variables inside the string as well. There are more stuff you can actually do with JavaScript. For example, we can transform a lowercase to an uppercase and vice versa. Let my lower be I am lower case. Console.log my lower, I'll comment this out, run, it is in lowercase, but to change it to uppercase I can put .2 uppercase with the parentheses, save, run it one more time, you can see that it is now in uppercase. In a similar way, you can change this to lower case, and you get the result in lowercase, the output in lowercase. Okay, so far so good. Now let's do the final thing. Before that, please make sure to click the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so, to help the channel to grow, and so that you also get new content when they are published. Before we round up, what I want to do is to quickly recap what we have covered so far. We said that there are different types of data we can work with in JavaScript: number, string, boolean, undefined, null, and object. An object is referred to as a data structure because it can actually hold other data types, including objects inside it, right? And this is how you can access the properties of an object. Actually here, this is how you can access the properties of an object, and you can store more properties in an object using this approach. That is for object. And we said there are different things you can do with a string. What we actually have here is just a tip of the iceberg. There are still more stuff you can do with a string. For example, you can get the length, how many characters in a string, using the length property that comes with JavaScript. And you can combine strings using concatenation, like we did here, using the plus sign. Also, you can do what is called string interpolation. This can output string, but in addition, you can pass variables to it, and it will automatically output the value that the variable holds. And so many other stuff, or at least a handful of other stuff you can do with strings in JavaScript. That brings us to the end of this lesson. I hope that at least one or two things make sense to you. So far, so good, I believe. See you next time. Bye bye.